So I went down to the Joe Buttons watching his podcast, and he mentioned about Milli Vanilli and have a documentary. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know nothing about it. I didn't hear nothing about it or anything. So I was like, I need to see where is this at. So I Googled to see where it was at. It was on Paramount Plus, and I gotta log in for that. So I watched it last night. It was so freaking good. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved it down. It was more of an insight. And I'm like, well, what can they really tell us that we didn't know after all this time? Especially during, like, remember VH1 Behind the Music? They were on there, right? But this actually shows, in the beginning, it jumps right into it, but it shows a little bit of their background, right? Fab is born and raised, semi-raised until 18 years old in Paris. He's a black Paris man, Frenchman, and Fabrice, and Robert is German. He had an American father. Said I don't know if he was a black man and a German mom or something like that, whatever. And he was basically dropped off at the orphanage, and his adopted parents are the white German. So, but I think he's mixed, right? Because he's a black. Obviously he looks black, but he has green eyes, green, bluish, whatever eyes. So that was one thing we found out. So Fabrice was 18 years old. He ran away from home. He had a lot of abusive situations going on at home, and he ran away and went to Munich. Was it Munich? In Germany. And he was a dancer as well. And he met Rob, and they were dancing. And Rob said to him, like, hey, you're on my turf, because he was like the only black guy that was around. So seeing another black guy, a Frenchman, a dark Frenchman too, it was different. It was weird. But I guess their abandonment issues, their hard family life bonded them together. They were brothers. Ever since then, they were living together. They were dancing on this German show together. And also they actually had a band. They actually had a band where they sang and everything like that. So they were somewhat singers at one time. I don't know. It was just sad because Frank, whatever that German bastard producer name is, really gave them the shit end of the stick with that. And the world hated them. And no one else was held responsible. Clive Davis, Arista, Frank, like, it was just so sad how the only people that were affected drastically, they fucking lives changed, was Milli Vanilli, was Rob and Fab. And that was just totally insane to me. But yeah, they met Frank, they met his secretary Ingrid, which Rob took a liking to, that she was like a maternal figure for him. He screwed him. Told him that he didn't want to lip sync. And told him that he want them to lip sync. And that's all they did, was lip sync. They paid him money. He haven't heard from them in several months. And he was taking care of them. And Ingrid said, if you don't go through with this contract and sign this contract or whatever the case may be, you owe us. You owe us the money, the advance. I think they gave him like 15,000, whatever German money it is. And he was sending money to them for several months. So this is how he played the game. He played the pimp game. He gave them money, continued to send money to take care of them, put them in debt. He was indebted. They were indebted to him. So they had no other choice but to sign it. And not other choice to sign it, but they had already signed it beforehand. But they had to go with the program with the lip syncing. That's it. And he found black singers, and he had these two white women too, but mainly found black singers, the real Milli Vanilli, which is crazy. Now everyone loves Frank because he's a big producer in Germany, and he also produced Boney M. That was a real big disco a real big disco group or whatever. I recognize some of the songs when they played it. But guess what? He did the same thing to Bonnie M or Boney M, whatever the hell their name is. Frank did the same thing. He was lip singing. The lead person in Boney M was Frank. Frank was actually singing. And it was an interview with him. He's like, I'm just a Negro here. I have no money. I don't have millions of dollars. He played them too. But no one never knew what was going on. And that's what he do. That's what exactly what's happening with the music industry now is exactly what he did to them, which is absolutely crazy. You give people money, they be old, they indebted to you, and you pimp them out. You do whatever the fuck I say you gotta do. So that's how they became, and then they became obsessed with the fame, and what fucking led to their demise was winning that damn Grammy. Not even the simple fact that they was on tour, MTV tour, and they kept going, girl, it's girl, or blame it on Van Dam. The vocals was stored into like a keyboard, and it malfunctioned and they ran the hell off the stage. So of course the jig was up, but not until they won that Grammy. And I heard they were complete assholes at the after party of the Grammy. And then what played a lot into it, what Fab said, we were constantly high. To keep up the lie, it was drugs. They abused drugs and alcohol. They was high all the time. And it's messed up. And they was trying to find a way to get out of it. So they stopped missing appearances and all this other stuff to try to demand more and more money. And Frank, the biggest pimp ever, said, no, you're not going to try to extort me. He held a press conference and showed the real people of Milli Vanilli, had them on display. And he was like, well, I did it. And that was it. No one ever came to him or Arista or Clive Davis like, why did you you deceive people? They took the brunt of that, which was really messed up. They held the press conference, giving the Grammy back. And the reporters were tearing them up. They were so upset. And my thing about it is, they lip sync. They didn't kill nobody. This whole situation cost one of them that robbed his life. He was depressed. And going through it. He abusing drugs like crazy. And it was sad. It was real sad. It was really sad. And just, they had some recordings and some interviews of his voice and just hearing he's in pain. And, they had Fab looking through some old pictures and stuff. Fabrice looking through some old pictures. And he's like, right here, Rob was gone. He could tell how high he was. He was just not there anymore. And after the whole giving the Grammy back and the money was gone, they was out here broke and destitute. They tried to come out with them singing an album. That didn't work. But Fab, I guess he was sobering up and everything, and Rob wasn't. Rob was fucked up in the game. He was living in a crack house. Like, he was in and out of rehab, and it was just insane. Lives is over. And of course, Frank is still alive, and he declined to do an interview for this because he's a piece of shit. He's probably still getting money off of people from somewhere. Who knows? The Mr. Puppet Master. But it was such a tragic look at it. And it was very grim and dark and sad. It was just so freaking sad. And I feel like sometimes that's what labels do. That's what these companies do. They play in your despair and your desperation, and you want to get on, or you want to be a star, or you need money to feed your family type thing. It's terrible. And at the end, which was so insane to me, he must have worked on his craft, because he put blame it on the rain. He started singing Fabrice. He had a band behind him. He cut the music. He actually sounded good. He had a little concert in I guess I don't know where it was at, but he had a little concert, and he said I always try to keep him alive, and sing our songs. He said for a while he didn't even go out the house because people would recognize him, and he cut his hair short. He looked good with short hair at one time, and he met his wife, and they had kid after kid after kid after kid. And she didn't even know who he was because he didn't have no hair then. And someone told me, like, that's Milli Vanilli. And she was like, okay. Like, she didn't think nothing of it. So he got his wife, he got his kids, and every now and again he performs somewhere. Maybe he take care of his family. But he sounded good. He was fun. He was on his like little singing and cut the music. He was on his little runs. He actually sounded good. And he seemed like he's in a great place, which is awesome. But he do misses his brother. He do misses Rob. And that fucking Frank killed him. I don't care what he said. He killed them by playing on their destitute and desperation. Two young kids, because I think he said they was like, he was 22, Fab was 22, and Rob was like 24, 25 when they signed that deal. And of course, they didn't read nothing. They just signed it, like always, which is sad, but definitely true. So go check that out on Paramount Plus, Milli Vanilli. Excellent, excellent, excellent story. I enjoyed it. I'm kind of getting on my documentary thing. I also, if you haven't seen it, Get Gotti is good. I saw that today. I'm going to do a review on that. Also, Love to Love You. That's the Donna Summer one, which is I saw it in the summertime. That was so good. Maybe I'll do a review on that as well. But let's discuss.